Hi and welcome back to another lesson. In this lesson, I'm going to turn you into film composers. This is of course all tongue-in-cheek. We're just going to have a little bit of fun looking at a few chord progressions or chord pairs that have a really cinematic feel to them. And even if you don't know music theory or you're not a good player, you can still follow along. So I hope this will be a bit of fun for everyone. Now we're going to start out by laying out a chord. We're going to start with the C major chord, which is this. So I'm playing a G, C, and E in my right hand, and I'll play a bass of C in the left hand. Now I'm going to explore alongside with you pairs of chords. So I'm going to start out by playing C, and then playing an E minor, and then going back to C, and then E minor, and then alternating between the two. Now, for the E minor, I'm playing a B, E, and G in the right hand, and a bass of E in the left hand. And just going back and forth between these two chords, it has a little bit of a sort of movie feel to it, especially if you've played in the high register of the piano. And I've transposed my piano in octave app so you can actually, we can play these high notes. And you can think of, or try to think of the sad scene sort of, or the scene, sort of the thoughtful scene that would accompany this music. Now to make it a little bit more interesting, I'm going to add some motion to the right hand. So I'm going to play the outer two notes in the chord, and then the inner note, and then the outer two notes and the inner note, outer two notes and inner note. So this is for the C major, and this is for the E minor. And putting it all together, I get this. So it's already taking up sort of a movie-like feel to it. I might actually even go for a different inversion of the E minor chord. I might play this one instead. So I'm playing a G, B, and E in the right hand. Now I find that I'm going to also add now a quiet little melody above the chords, and I'm going to use actually my left hand for this. I'm going to hit the bass note and then play the notes up here. Now if you can't do this, don't worry too much about it. You can just play the chords. They already give it sort of a movie-like feel. And you can keep going. So I think this piece in itself, I hope your imagination is already working and you're visualizing something sort of a scene from a movie or something like that. And what we're going to do for the rest of this video is explore other pairs of chords. So we're not going to go from C to E minor, but we're going to go or try out other pairs. So let's see what else we can go to from C that gives us an interesting sound. Let's try A minor instead of C. A minor instead of E minor. So my A minor is going to be this chord, A, C, and E in the right hand, and a bass of A in the left hand. And I'm going to use this motion trick I just showed you. So this also has sort of a thoughtful, wishful feeling to it, just like the C-E minor pair. Can we find other interesting pairs? So the only way to answer this is to just try out different triads and different chords. Here's one that has a more sort of a hopeful feel to it. And I'm going to play, this is going to be a D chord. And for the D chord, I'm going to play this thing here. So I have an A, D, and F sharp in the right hand. And I'm actually going to keep the bass on the C. So this is going to be my second chord. I'm always going to use the C as my bass. But now I'm going to play a C and a D over a bass of C. It's going to sound like this. So I used a different inversion of C there in the middle, where I played the C, E, and G in the right hand. And this has, like I said, a more of a hopeful feel. Let's try other things. I mean, can we find other interesting chord pairs that make sense? And one such chord pair is a C going to a G minor. Now, I'm actually going to play for this the chord in the left hand. Just hold it down so you can hear it, and play a little melody in the right hand. So here's my C chord. And for the G minor, just going to play G, B flat, and D. And you can get the feeling of sort of like maybe a science fiction sort of movie where they encounter a new and breathtaking world. With this quiet piano piece playing in the background. Let's try another pair. Let's go from C to an A flat major chord. And the A flat major chord is going to be this. So I'm playing an A flat, C, and E flat in the right hand, with a bass of A flat in the left hand. Going back to my pattern, and so this time I played the melody actually with the bass in the left hand. And you can think of if you think about like a cinematic setting, you can think of the cellos or the double basses or something playing this in a lower register. We can also go up. Let's try another pair. Let's try a C and an E major. So for the E major, I just played B, E, and G sharp. Some of this sounds better if you have a synthesizer or VSTI or something, and you can play it with strings. So here are my strings. let's see if we can find or if we can start out from a minor chord. So let's start from let me transpose it up an octave, and let's start from a C minor chord this time. And the pair that I'd like to explore first is a C minor going to a B major. So the C minor is a G, C, and E flat, and the B major is an F sharp, B, D sharp. And you can already hear it coming. So in the B flat, I had some motion. Once I played this thing, and then I played a slightly different voicing, which really isn't it's sort of a B sus4. So I'm playing an F sharp, B, and F. And you can try, actually I urge you, I'm not going to go through all of the possible combinations. Let's try another one. Let's start with the C major and go for, let's say, a G flat major. So I was using a few inversions in there, and again, you can take this as far as you'd like. If you know how to play inversions, great, experiment with them as well. If you don't, just stick with the root forms and try out the different chords, that's fine as well. And for the grand finale of this, what I'd like to do is, maybe let's layer my piano with strings, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically play these pairs of chords, but switch between them. And I'm going to use each pair to prepare me for the next pair. So I'm just going to play the progression, and I hope you'll sort of see how the different, or you'll hear at least, how the different pairs that we've played fit in there. Just to give you an idea of a rough outline of what I played, I've started out with this C minor to B flat major, and then this led into the same exact thing, but played 3 semitones up. So then, instead of starting with a C minor, I started with an E flat minor, which then went to a D major. It's really the same thing, but only transposed up 3 semitones. And this went again, higher up by 3 semitones again, to an F sharp minor, which went into an F, and this went into a C, and then an E, an and a C and an E. And then I went into the A flat to C major pair. And after that I played the C to the D major over bass of C. So that was it. I hope you've learned a few interesting things. Don't quit your day job. There's still quite a bit to learn before you become Hans Zimmer. But at the very least, I hope you've had some fun and learned something interesting. That's it. I'll see you next time.